Right, I'm calling a bit of a lazy week, right? So today's video, collection, right? So I don't think I've shown off my collection. It's nothing crazy, but you know I'm no slouch either. For starters, this is actually all my extra Majestics. Now there are obviously some okay stuff here poking out, but for the majority of it, it's stuff no one wants, right? So for instance, we'll grab generics. That's the easiest one, right? And we'll just come right here to the back where it's a whole bunch of cash outs, right? So yeah, there's nothing too crazy here, but currently I am just basically cleaning up, right? So sorting it. I'm finally assembling a trade binder, right? Which is something I haven't really done before. They've just been sitting in like a chaff box, right? And then I'm also sorting my actual playsets of Majestics, so all by class and whatnot, right? So if I want to build a deck, it's all there. Plus I can start figuring out what exactly I'm missing, right? Because I do have almost everything, but not quite everything, right? So there's still some stuff that I'm probably chasing. Yeah, there's certain classes that I've always just shelved, right? So I've never really played like Wizard or Runeblade, so I never, gone out of my way to pick up all of their cards, so to speak. Plus, there's, a couple sets where I haven't truly opened them, so Heavy Hitters is probably my least open set, so I'm missing probably a ton of stuff from that as well. But let me get this organized, and then we'll start going through folders, I guess. That's much better. So this is the trade binder, at least how it ended up, if you can see, right? So yeah, legendaries, a little bit too shiny in here, I guess, but there we go as we turn the pages. It's a bit too big. A lot of my binders are a bit too big, right? But basically, the Majestics, we won't go through them too much, right? Anything I had playsets of went in here, anything extra, I just put aside, right? So nothing too fancy in here, right? For instance, if there's any, legendary in here, then I have an actual play copy as well. And then in terms of marvels, there's never been a real standout marvel for me personally, right? They do look fantastic, but what I mean is there's nothing that I've really wanted to collect, right? The dragons come close, but I end up missing two, so let it be. I don't think I'm gonna end up doing the gravies because God, there's way too many, right? And then the fact that even the big ones you want full playsets of, right? And then, you've got the Dynasty, just black order. Was it dark mode, essentially? So, yeah, I'll be waiting until there's, a theme that really strikes my fancy. But other than that, right, any extra Majestics ended up in this box, right? So the big pile that we had up on the desk, extras on that side, and then on this side, all the pinks that I've pulled out from Welcome to Rathe, which is another binder that I have to basically disassemble because I used to have like a binder just for Welcome to Rathe first edition. Then I ended up pulling out all the pink ones. Right? It's another massive 4x3, so I'm not gonna open it and go through it. Again, all the pinks are in this much easier for you all to view smaller binder, right? So we'll do that one. So yeah, I'm missing foils, but I have at least every non-foil pink, right? So Alpha Rampage, Breakneck Batteries, foil and non-foil, Savage Feast, Barraging Beatdown, Savage Swing, Pack Hunt, right? So if they're missing that side, I'm missing the foil essentially, right? I like how this turned out with the exact right spacing. Romps, anything stand out? Well, again, because I have at least all the non-foils, there is once we get to the generics, which is good stuff, right? E-Strike. What else? I guess sinks are also nice. Is there anything else stand up foil? I guess the Razor Reflex, right? So pummel foil, pummel not. Razor Reflex, since it is the alt art, right? I don't know if you can tell with the extra. It's like a small smidge of bloodstain, right, in the middle area here. I don't think you can quite catch in the light compared to the normal version. Glow, no foil, sad. One day maybe. Bubbles, missing the Klloo first ed foil. And then some auxiliary sets. I still have to track down the Tails Unlimited since I never opened any Tails Unlimited. And then I have to work out whatever I'm missing there from whichever sets. What else? Fables? Yeah, Fables should be somewhere around here. Beautiful. Within reach is what we like, right? So, generally speaking, when it comes to collecting, I like to have pulled it more so than bought it, right? Obviously, that doesn't always hold up. There are certain cards that you want for play and etc. So you do end up having to spend the pretty penny. But for Fables, pulled, beautiful, right? So Everfest, And cold foil, Rosetta, Tails, the Hunted. God, I gotta work out the better spot with this downlight, right? Move the Codex aside. Library Rainbow Foil. Rainbow Foil. Command to Conquer. Arknight Shard though. Yeah, if you saw this one. Cold foil. Rainbow Foil. Miss Skelly. Rainbow Foil? Yeah, Rainbow Foil. Plague Hive, Rainbow Foil. Cog, Rainbow Foil. Blood, Rainbow Foil. And a nice, beautiful alt art channel, right? See if I can lay them out neatly. And then I'm missing the Blood Rot Codex. And then I have an extra, if you will, right? So I'm not going for the 3s to play with these. I'm just nice framed in my opinion, right? So I do have Frailty and then Spare Frailty. And then obviously Inertia, but we are missing a... Yeah, there we go. Right, nice little sect of shininess. Other than that, in terms of binders, I don't think there's... Oh, promos. Of course, promos is the other binder. Let me clean up. Right, a more magical size. But 4 note for the Fables, the ones I'm missing. Deathmatch Arena and Light of Soul. Yeah, because again, I didn't open much heavy hitters, and I just didn't hit it with Dynasty Dusk Till Dawn. So promo-wise, right, we have the Reiner, which does feature as a lost treasure, and then a bunch of just freebies that, you know, I got when I bought stuff, right? Weapons, more heroes. I don't think there's anything super standout in terms of the cold foilness, right? But then we do have, for instance, I guess Recurrent Blue is kind of old, right? The Torrent of Tempo, I think it's from the Ira deck, so it has a P, but I don't think it's actually a promo. It's more so just because it was part of a promo deck, right? Blaze Headlong, I guess, is kind of nice. Anything else catches my eye? I'm going to say not really. I haven't actually pulled anything super exciting out of any of the gem packs yet. Yeah, no, I think that's about it, right? Oh, the EAs, I guess, from ICs. Give No Quarter, King Kraken. Gonna do... Where is it? Above the camera. Oh. Yeah, no. The reflectiveness of protection, unfortunately, right? So, yeah. Very nice, right? And then the last binder is the first ed stuff. Not, again, a hefty amount, but, you know, decent stuff, I feel. So, in this nice white one, we have cold foils from Welcome to Rathe, right? The nice scabbies, 2 helms, 2 hardened cross straps, gauntlets, Oak Merchant's Hood, and a tectonic plating. So 2 L's, it's nice, right? In terms of foils, Tome, Showtime, and a Crazy Brew. In terms of non-foils, right? A bit more nice stuff, especially with the pinks, right? The Crippling Crush, Spinal Crush, and another E-Strike. Super rares, yeah, right? More about the foils. Arcane Rising. I have had horrible luck with Arcane Rising, right? 1 measly cold foil, and I've opened more than 1 box. So, yeah, that's sad, right? Blazing Aether for the foil, Become the Arknight, and Rusted Relic. And then normal M's, another Blazing Aether, Arknight Ascendancy, Klloo Core, and then the super rares. And then for crew, we do have a decent chunk more cold foils, since, you know, we've got Shayna, Tunic, and Arknight Shard, right? With Tunic and Arknight Shard on camera, which is definitely nice, right? Bloodshade Skelter is definitely a nice one to have. Other than that, just some weapons, right? Although I didn't actually realize the harmonized Kadachi, right, comes as a promo for the left side, and then in crew for the right side, I believe, right? So yeah, that's a nice set to sort of completed. For foils, some Remorselesses, some Twinning Blades, no alt art, unfortunately, right? Anything else? Nope, that's the end of the foils. And then just normal, since there are no super rares for crew. Yeah, so that's a folder. So outside of cards, the only other sort of neat stuff I have is frames, right? So I haven't gone around to, I'm missing 4 frames. So I like to save packs, right? So we have Tails through Rosetta. That needs to be in a nice 4 frame. And then we have the High Seas in a unopened gold pack, right? So I'll make up another nice 4 frame, and then we'll wait for the last gem pack of the year and do probably a 3 frame, right? And if you don't understand what I mean, let me grab the actual done ones. Right, so, for instance, right, Misfail with the gold pack. Heavy hitters in a single, right? I don't like the singles. I will wait until there's, the set that goes with it, right? Klloo First Ed pack, Everfest, which I also don't like the paper. Paper's awful to frame because, wear and tear builds up. Outsiders, right? With the 3 different hero arts. Then we have the same for Bright Lights. We have a full set of paper for, what's the region called? Remind me, right? But Uprising Dynasty and the Hunted. So, yeah, I don't know if you can... I think I've managed to keep the top sides kind of nice. There's that awful, though, just crease line. And then because it's paper, it just splits the actual imagery and shows the white side, right? But, yeah. Finally, I can't remember if any of these come in... Actually, I know the Hunted did. But I feel like Uprising, because it was right after Everfest, was still the push for paper packs, right? Monarch and Dusk Till Dawn in the middle, which is definitely... I like this one, framed, right? Because you've got the 2 sides fighting over Solana, right? See? I remember some of the lore. Alpha, Welcome to Rathe art sets, where I do it by name rather than class. So Brute should be there. But, goes Bravo, Dorinthia, Katsu, and Rhina. And then, of course, we have Arcane Rising in the same fashion. So, yeah. My nice remnants, what is that? That is fluff, apparently, right? So, yeah, that's what I mean by frame. Aside from that, I do have all the armory decks that have been released as they're released, which is going to gut me with the LL armory decks, right? Viserai and Prism, was it? But I feel like it wasn't Prism, but it was Prism. Was it Prism? Anyway, so I don't think they're quite old enough, so the only remainder thing would probably be the Welcome to Rathe decks, right? So we have the Ira Welcome deck, right? And we have Katsu, Rhina, Corinthia, and of course, Bravo. And I guess I care about Guardian least, right? So all nice and still sealed. Actually, I don't think I've actually looked at these, right? So they come with a handbook and... well, then the cards that you can't really see, I suppose. A little bit of wear and tear because these aren't plastic wrapped. Same with the armory decks, right? I will voice that gripe. So they did it for the first 2, right? And then Azalea onwards, they stopped wrapping them. But yeah, so I do like that little set. I wouldn't mind putting them in like a shadow box, right? Framed. But the armory deck's kind of small in comparison. So yeah, aside from that... well, I guess Classic Battles, if you remember it. I still have a few of them lingering around. Kinda wish they'd bring this back, right? The mono decks. Because this was a really nice product. It just, well, didn't do so well, right? I guess a little bit awkward, shelf space, right? Because it's kind of a clunky box. And then, because it has the playmat in it. And then, we sort of went through the transitional period of single decks, then the bundles, and now it'll probably be solely focused on armory decks that are Blitz and CC compatible. Aside from that, right, I guess favorite card would have to be the alt art, if I can find it again. Channel like Frigid, right? Because I think, to me personally, I still just love Hales, right, for its artwork. And then this is just such a beautiful card in foil, right? Yeah. But I think they'll do it, right? I don't think there's anything else fancy for me to show off, or that I forgot. Although, kind of sad that I say channel like Frigid, right? But then somewhere in this stack, is a cold foil Arcanite Shard, right? Although I think the Dynasty CNC, no, surely the cold foil Arcanite Shard still trumps the Command and Conquer, right? Yeah, but no, this is still the most gorgeous card, or one of the most gorgeous cards, right? The nice, beautiful foiling sunset on a frigid lake, right? There we go. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah.